Hey, Victor, thank you very much. Deuce McAllister, as you said, joins us. And Deuce, a frustrating night for Saints fans. They fall behind early. It looked like this team may make a comeback in the second half, but clearly it just wasn't meant to be tonight.
Wasn't meant to be. I mean, you're probably disappointed because it was in spurts. I think they played well for spurts, certain drives, but overall, you have to be upset with the consistency. This team has had it pretty much the whole year, just being inconsistent. It's been game to game. We've never really seen it spurts like tonight, and that's probably the most frustrating part about it because they have the talent to at least compete, maybe not to go in there and blow teams out, but they have the talent to compete. It's going to take a clean game, not have a lot of penalties, not have the turnovers, and there was not a ton of that, but at the end of the day, it's about making plays and you're not getting enough of them from your playmakers.
You talk about inconsistencies. I mean, there have been injuries on both sides of the football, and on offense, you have the same. The offensive weapons you had against the Bucs last week on the road, and they played well, and then you come home in prime time where Sean Payton and company have owned the opposition over the years. I mean, it's really hard to imagine what's going on with this offense week to week.
Well, it's interesting. They're 0-2 this year, prime time. Now it's 0-3.
Yeah.
So what they've done in the past isn't really carrying over. They have a lot of those same pieces, but to say that this team can go out and shine Sunday night or play really well Monday night, they're just not. It's not going from practice field to game field, and that's the most disappointing part about it. You go out and it's a valiant effort in Tampa, but then you come back and okay, we have a series or two here at home that you look really, really good. The empty formation with Drew, I thought it was fantastic. There was a couple of plays running, but it wasn't enough. And then you fall behind so bad that you have to crawl back in it, and you just can't finish it off.
Talk about the running game. You didn't see the same burst from Hightower that we saw a week ago, and C.J. Spiller just seems to be an enigma in this offense. They're trying to get him going, but week after week, he just can't get it going.
Well, at least we saw more empty. We saw him have some explosion on kickoff return, so there were some things there that you said, hey, look, this is the guy that we signed. Now it just has to be in the rhythm of the offense. I would love to see them, continue to do that with CJ. As far as the running game, there was some holes, but I think when you fell back so far, it really put you in a situation where you couldn't run it and maybe had to do some things to let's get back in this and then maybe lean back on the running game.
Scary moment with Drew Brees, limping on the sidelines with an injury to his right ankle. Didn't miss any playing time, actually played better after the injury, I thought.
Yeah, I think when he came down and landed or when he was playing to throw it, he twisted it or twerked it or something, but he was able to make some plays for him, and when he went to make that play, the ball actually soared on him a little bit. It soared on him, so I don't know if it was just out of frustration or what, but you had some concerns and worries as far as what would happen to him. Would he stay in? There's nothing there as far as when you look at it, so it was just kind of a freak incident.
Let's talk about the wide receivers. Colston had his moments tonight. Willie Snead once again delivering, and Brandon Cooks could have had 2 touchdowns tonight. I thought the receivers had a decent night all around tonight.
Decent night. There was probably as a group, probably a couple more drops than they wanted to, and you'll throw the running backs as well as the tight ends in there as well. But I mean, overall, it was decent, But it's about winning, and you've got to win your one-on-one battles. There was a couple opportunities where they plays in the end zone and didn't happen.
The defense, played decent last week in Tampa Bay, but I thought took a big step back, especially in the first half against a Lion team it's not setting the world on fire in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I mean, there was opportunities to make plays, and they just didn't make them. When they sent pressure, a couple of times guys got there, but overall, just didn't make enough plays, and it's disappointing because this defense has played well, but just not well as you thought they would.
Finally, Deuce, you look at the Saints team, they're not going to have a winning year for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. Not going to have a winning year this year. Talk about the state of this franchise now. I mean, this isn't something we're used to in the Peyton era, and now we're seeing in consecutive years now.
Disappointing. You're disappointing. You have to figure out how do we get better. We know we have pieces. You don't want to call it a quote-unquote rebuilding year, but at some point, you have to have the right pieces to make it work. And we think that it'll work. Again, you have the right head guy in Sean there, but you have to have the pieces to make plays, and you just don't have them now.
No doubt about it. Well, listen, have a Merry Christmas with the family. We'll see you next week, and as always, I appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, we saw Morton Anderson inducted into the Ring of Honor tonight, guys, at halftime. I think the next Saint up for that honor could be the guy sitting to my right here. I don't know what you think, but Deuce McAllister, very popular among the fans and, of course, respected among his peers. We'll see if that happens down the road. That's a story for now. We'll have much more, including Drew Brees and some Saints players coming up. Back to you guys.